Welcome back to Planet Coaster. Today we are visiting Flamingo Land in Yorkshire. It's fairly northern. It's a theme park in the United Kingdom, of course. It's actually in England, in Yorkshire, as I've said. And it is a theme park I have been to. I did go there last year with one of my then closest friends. And this is a wonderful recreation made by Paul Shaw too. Now, it does say it's still a work in progress. So hopefully this is going to continually get updated. Now this does feature the newest coaster, which is due to launch this year. As of time of recording, we are still in sort of lockdown conditions in the UK, so it may get launched either later in 2020 or in 2021, one I would imagine at this point. Now, there are a few things you need to do to get this park sort of working properly for the guests and to use all the rides. And I have added in 2 extra elements as well, which we will discuss when I do reach them. I mean, this is a fantastic recreation, as I say. It's a work in progress, so I am expecting things to not be 100% yet, and I will happily revisit this, providing it does get updated. So this is the entrance zone, which does feel like it is in real life. It feels wonderful. So yeah, I'm very impressed with this park. It's just so far from the opening, it just feels brilliant. It feels very realistic. Now, I'm not going to be able to comment too much on the new coaster because obviously it's new. It wasn't there when I first came in, but so far the sort of scape of the coasters that you can see from here does seem pretty damn accurate. So I'm just going to run over to here. Now, this is Inversion, which is the newest coaster, we say, which is due to open originally this year, but obviously there could be delays now. And it's a clone of Colossus at Thorpe Park. Now, anyone who has ridden Colossus at Thorpe Park knows that the ride is fairly old, but it's still a fantastic roller coaster. It does mean, however, that it's a bit more painful to ride than perhaps newer coasters. This is a way newer model, so it has lap bars instead of over-the-shoulder restraints like Colossus does, and it's also sort of got the newer track style of Inversion as well, which is rather brilliant. So we're just gonna skip through the queue line here, and wow, I mean, Colossus is brilliant, and I really hope to ride this in real life and, you know, see the difference of what Colossus would be if it had a newer design, because it's a fabulous roller coaster. So anyway, we're just gonna go have a ride on it and see how it goes. I'm not gonna lie, that felt like a pretty accurate recreation of the coaster, so kudos. We're gonna head under here now. I'm not gonna walk because we'll be here all day. So apparently we come out we come out the other side of Velocity. So let's go back around then. So Velocity is all the way around here. Now this is one of the sort of, I guess you would call them a motorbike roller coaster. They're one of the launch coasters. Yeah, it's a standard sort of Vekoma steel sit-down launch coaster with motorbike design carts. It's honestly a wonderful experience. I'd never been on one of these sort of motorbike style roller coasters before. I was extremely skeptical, but I did find it a lot of fun. So let's have a ride on it once we've opened it up when it comes back here, and yeah, let's see how it goes. That was fantastic. I really, yeah, that felt like I was just back on it. Now, in the real life roller coaster, you sort of, this part feels fairly accurate. You've got like a photo booth here where you can buy all your pictures. I learned that you don't really want to dab on launch roller coasters because it can look like you're making inappropriate gestures, and mine actually got refused to be shown on the little picture screen, so I couldn't see my picture. I had to see it separately, and yeah, it did not look great. So round the corner we go here. So this is Cliffhanger. Now the real version of this ride, sort of about there where they are, you're actually in an enclosed bit and you sort of fly out there. It's actually a very good sort of launch drop tower. I really enjoyed it. I don't really like drop towers that much, but I genuinely found it a pretty great example of a drop tower, to be honest. And as I say, they're not normally my favourite. The best ones I've ever been on are Grinelands, but yeah. So this is one of the additions that I've put in that I actually grabbed from the workshop. So this is a sort of version of Zamperla's flying coaster called Hero. Obviously this is not the correct model in the actual game itself because it doesn't exist. If you can see here, the real versions, you feel like you're in a sort of coffin, and this, I'm not going to lie, it's a very painful experience. It's not a very enjoyable coaster in my honest opinion, and I'm somewhat of a coaster nut, so you know, I do love a good roller coaster, but I couldn't really recommend it. I think I went on it twice in the end. My friend didn't really want to go on it the second time, and it was just not pleasant at all. But I mean, this is an okay recreation. From what I remember, the footprint is actually pretty even in real life, so all the corners line up with each other. But I mean, for what it is, it's an okay recreation. Still probably better than the actual ride itself. I'm not going to pop going on that in the actual video itself. There'll be a separate unlisted video if you do want to have a look at that. This, however, is Mumbo Jumbo. Now, this is an interesting ride because I believe it was meant to be the steepest roller coaster in the world. There's actually a Guinness Book of World Records thing there for it. Yeah, it's quite interesting. From what I remember, Soar at Thorpe Park had the record, and then I think these guys took it off them. Now, it is a good roller coaster. I was pleasantly surprised by it. I thought it would be disgusting and horrible. It's got a really small footprint for what it is. But you know what? It's pretty damn good, if I'm really honest with you. And I definitely didn't expect it. Now, it is an S&S worldwide roller coaster. I think it might be one of the first proper ones of theirs I'd been on, and I was genuinely impressed. So I guess we're going to have a ride on it too, aren't we? There we go. That was perhaps not the smoothest recreation I've seen of Mumbo Jumbo. It was a pretty damn good effort. I'm not gonna lie, I was impressed by it. I guess this is probably the most famed roller coaster at Flamingo Land, called Kumali. Now, I am someone who does like their looping coasters. People do not like their Vekoma looping coasters, but this one has a very different layout to what I feel a lot of other ones I've been on have. It doesn't have that standard SLC layout. It's a really enjoyable coaster. I didn't find it particularly painful or headbangy. I just thought it was genuinely pretty fantastic. Particularly this area, I think it was here, you do feel quite low to the ground. It's just wonderful, I'm not gonna lie, and the theming around it is sort of around an African savannah. It's just wonderful. I'm not gonna be around the bush. It's genuinely, I absolutely loved it. When I went, it did actually shut partway through the day, which did mean I didn't get to enjoy it to its absolute full extent, because I would have gone on it twice, but sadly I did not get to. But this is a brilliant recreation. It feels wonderful. I think there are perhaps a few bits where it's maybe not exactly the right height, but it feels brilliant. So we'll have a ride on that too. As we leave Kumali, we do come out over here to sort of a vast nothingness. Now there is sort of a pirate ship ride that would be sort of over that way somewhere, but there's not much more in the way of rides than this direction. It is more of the safari. There is one rather big ride, however, that is missing from here, which is, I think, a bit of a surprise, which is the Lost River ride. Now, the Lost River ride is a sort of a smaller ride. It's one of the sort of ones where you sit in a quite enlarged boat and then it sort of drops you down a large flume at the end. It's a wonderful, wonderful ride, and it goes through all the animal enclosures initially. It's one of the reasons I'm sort of sad that there's no integration between Planet Coaster and Planet Zoo, because it would just be wonderful to have a proper theme park like Flamingo Land, have its safari exhibition as well. Maybe there'll be an expansion pack in the future, hopefully, but who knows. Or maybe they'll allow cross compatibility one day, but we'll have to wait and see. That's really the only thing that I guess is, for me, properly missing from here. So if we head over sort of at a right angle almost, where we would be going over sort of there towards what would be sort of Lost River ride, we head over this direction, which is actually towards a sort of Jurassic theme zone for the kids, but we we head past Flip Flop first. This is a lot bigger than the actual ride that it is at Flamingo Land itself. Significantly bigger. It's not a giant sort of gyro swing, it's a fairly small one, a lot lower capacity, but it's wonderful, like in real life. It's one of the sort of best gyro swings, I think, in the UK. I think Maelstrom at Drayton Manor does surpass it, if I'm honest, but it is absolutely wonderful, and I'm glad that, as I say, really 2K93 has made this sort of custom gyro swing model for you to put in the game itself. I'm not going to ride these. I don't really ever ride the thrill rides for these videos. If you do really want one, if you comment below, then I can pop one in. Now, as I say, this would be in this area, sort of the Jurassic zone. It's not in the game yet. The main ride, I guess, that's in here is the Zamperla spinning swing tower that would be here, which is sort of pterodactyl. I think it would be about here. I went on it and there was like no one else on it except like 3 kids. And it's a wonderful ride, like genuinely, you can see the whole park. It's just really beautiful. There are also some cable cars which would be sort of heading from gosh, I guess about there. Up over here and towards the other end of the park, say a lot of this area would be filled with, there's rhinos, I think, giraffes, there's some lions, and the Lost River ride sort of goes all the way around it and then sort of splashes down over there, and or is it tigers that are in the middle? I can't remember now, it's been a while since I've been there. Probably should have done a bit more research before I made this video, but never mind. I just couldn't resist going into this because, as I say, Flamingo Land is a park I do love very much. Once this whole thing is over, me and my partner are actually going to be going there. So hopefully I'll maybe film a vlog off, because as I say, it's a wonderful park. It doesn't get enough credit in the UK. I wish it was as popular as sort of Alton Towers and Thorpe Park in terms of sort of general knowledge throughout the UK, because if I'm really honest, most of my friends in the UK don't really know it. Even a lot of friends sort of I live nearish, and we're only a couple of hours away from it, so it's quite surprising so few people know it. Just a quick add in here, I am aware that there is the Flamingo sort of Formula 1 style go-karty area here as well. In real life it's not proper go-karts, it's one of those track systems, so you are limited in speed, you are behind other people, and they are fixed to a certain track. It's a 2-lane track system. I haven't really shown it in this. It's not connected up fully to the sort of main path system at the moment. I did realise once I got to the end that I sort of walked all the way around it and not mentioned it, so I thought I'd just add that in here. Well, I guess thanks for joining me on this wonderful adventure to Flamingo Land in the Planet Coaster. I hope you do have a look in the link in the description below to find the 3 assets I've used today, which is the Flamingo Land actual build, which, as I say, is a work in progress. We may revisit it, by Paul Shaw 2. We've got the Flip Flop by Reedy 2K93, and we've also got Hero by O'Brien 2005. Thank you so much for visiting Flamingo Land with me. Enjoy the rest of your day.